My name is Kate Doby. I'm Executive Director of Higher Grounds. I am joined by our fearless Board Chair, Jeff Rust. And on behalf of the Board of Directors and staff at Higher Ground, we welcome all of you to our 12th annual Hero's Journey event. We're so thrilled to be under the tent with you all tonight. I am certainly very glad to be here. Over 20 years ago, we started as a very small adaptive ski program, serving primarily local kids, teens, adults with physical disabilities. Now here we are over 20 years later, serving veterans, first responders, kids, teens, and adults with all types of disabilities on a national basis through our year-round therapeutic programs. Thank you. We focus on whole life healing, and we do that through individualized goals with all of our participants, and we use those to promote independence, resilience, and a genuine sense of purpose. We are incredibly thankful for so many things here tonight. Our programs are back at full force after a couple years, and the demand is higher than ever among our participant base, which we'll talk about. Our staff is healthy, and we are very poised to serve all of these participants who are coming through our doors. We're incredibly grateful to you, our supporters and our donors who literally fuel our tanks, which takes more than ever this day and age. And you will propel our mission, which is so important to everyone, not only under this tent, but the thousands of participants, both primary and secondary, that we serve on an annual basis. I have a few groups of people I'd like to thank before handing it off to Jeff. But first, we have a table here this evening who literally this night would not be possible without them. The Dondero crew back here, this is their beautiful property. They donated it for tonight's event so we could create memories. I am proud and humbled to be a part of the Higher Ground staff. Our staff members and our board of directors, they are the most passionate, compassionate group of individuals who I have ever had the privilege of knowing, and they are truly the ones who make our programs life-changing. So for our board members who are here, our staff members here, please stand so we can recognize you all. Finally, if you look around the tent and around this gorgeous lawn, every single person working this event is either a staff member or a volunteer. We have over 350 volunteers who provide tens of thousands of hours of programming and events throughout the year, and that is why not only our programs have the heart and soul that they do, but it's also why we can proudly report that over 85 cents of every dollar donated goes straight back into our programming. That's due to them. I'm done. I'm going to hand it off. Just so grateful to all of you. We hope you walk away not only understanding the impact of Higher Ground's programs, the importance of them, but also that it takes a village, a community, and that transcends just what happens on our programs. It's you all as well. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your dinner, and Jeff Rust.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Big round of applause for Kate, our fearless leader. So as Kate said, it's great to see everybody here under the tent. It's great to be back together. As we all know, this is a fundraiser. We're here to raise money so we can keep doing what we do and to serve those worthy veterans. But it is called a Hero's Journey for a reason. We're here to celebrate and recognize heroes. These are true heroes, and we are here to honor them. So we have a few that we want to recognize right now. First of all, Admiral Mullen, 17th Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff from 2007 to 2011. Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for your service. You're a true American hero. Thank you very much. We also have Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, U.S. Navy veteran and an astronaut. Thank you for your service. You're a true American hero. Thank you. We have Luke Bichette, who's a veteran and went through one of our veteran programs. He's going to speak to you tonight. Where's Luke? Luke's here somewhere. Luke, thank you. Thank you for your service. True American hero. Thank you. And this year we started serving first responders, something that we see as a huge need. So we have Aaron Coleman, a first responder, who's going to be speaking to you tonight as well. I don't know where Aaron is. Aaron, stand up. Aaron, thank you. Thank you for your service. True American hero. And we also want to honor and recognize those that have served. So every veteran that is here tonight, please stand up, stay standing, and be recognized. So please stand up, veterans. Big round of applause for our veterans. Stay standing. Thank you for your service. True American heroes. Stay standing. All active military, please stand up. Active military, please stand up. Thank you for your service. True American heroes. First responders, please stand up. First responders, thank you for your service. True American heroes. Thank you. And one more group, last but not least, which is a big mission of Higher Ground. All the supporters of those standing up, please stand up. Their husbands, their wives, everybody stand up. You guys are true American heroes. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And next, as Higher Ground Board, Higher Ground's family would like to honor one very special hero in the room tonight. I'm going to bring Jim Lasky up here to help me honor this individual. He's going to say a few words. But this individual is sitting right here, Hayward Sawyer. Yeah. So Hayward, I'm going to toss it over to Jim. He's going to say a few things, and then I'll get back to you. But thank you for everything. We love you.
So tonight we're here to celebrate a former chairman of 15 years and a member of the former chairman and a member of the board for 15 years, Hayward Sawyer. Jeff and I have been fortunate to learn from him and have him as a mentor for well over a decade. Hayward had a distinguished career in the Marine Corps, serving in Vietnam, and thereafter had a lengthy business career working for Scandia, Prudential Allianz, and in financial and entrepreneurial ventures. In 2007, Hayward joined the Sun Valley Adaptive Sports Board, which soon thereafter was named the chair. Shortly after that, he came to me because he wanted a lawyer on the board. He brought me in promising quarterly meetings, which we have never had. They're monthly still, and now more than monthly in subcommittees. But Hayward led to a huge growth in Higher Ground. Shortly after he started, we rebranded to Higher Ground and significantly grew our veterans programming, first serving around 300 participants annually, and now serving on over 2,500 participants annually and over 27,000 hours of service to veterans each year. Hayward's inviting me to join the board has changed my life for the better in countless ways. It's opened my eyes to the needs of wounded veterans and their families, and literally been part of my identity as a person. Since he handed over the chair to me in 2014, and then now Jeff, Hayward continues to serve and use his vast and wide life experiences to mentor and guide us, whether with war stories, relationship stories, and he's had a lot of them, or advice gleaned from working with Ross Perot back in the day. He always focuses on how we can serve his fellow veterans and their families better. All this has helped Higher Ground grow from a local organization with a budget of less than $900,000 when he started to a truly national organization with an annual budget of over $4 million and growing rapidly. Hayward, when you retired from being the board chair, we gave you a green jacket because we really didn't have anything else to give you. Now, we thank you for your service. We are proud to have the opportunity to work with you and be counted as your friends. And We'd like you to come up.
Come on up here, Hayward. Come on up here. I want to say one more thing. So one more thing before I pass on the mic. Hayward, I want you to look around this room. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I truly believe we would not be the organization we are without you. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your mentorship, your leadership, but most of all, your friendship. Thank you. We can hold that for you if you want.
Okay.
Much better than the green jacket.
So, you got the program here. Thank you, gentlemen. It was very moving, very supportive for me, and I thank you. Tonight, just reflecting back on a little history, and starting with a family that's very dear to me. And they are honored, they are a Gold Star family. John and Karen Ryan, table number 4, right here. They sponsored a table tonight in honor of Karen's brother, Michael Jensen, who was killed in Vietnam in 1970. So we honor you, we honor your family, Karen, and all the other Gold Star families that we supported over these years. And there may be others in this audience as well. On a personal level, I want to thank Chris and Michael Boskin for their leadership over this last 15 years. And especially Chris. I mean, Jim just talked about me having him come on the board, telling him about the quarterly meetings. When Chris asked me to join the board, she said, just come on and try it for a while. Well, Chris, we're at 15 years in now. And for me, and I'll talk about that in a second, has made a change in my life. Thank you. And then we get back, every time we give something, we always get more in return. So Higher Ground has given me much more than I've ever given to Higher Ground. And there's another gentleman here that's been had a significant impact on my life. It's part of my therapy, along with Higher Ground. But Dr. Gary Peterson, who without him, I would not be here to receive this award. Recognition. So then we get to the donors, we get to the staff, and we get to the volunteers. Cumulatively, over 700 volunteers over the years have supported this program. We couldn't even come close to performing and providing the services that we provide without the volunteers. So it's been significant. So the donors, the volunteers, the staff, which Kate just referenced. And then we get to the board, incredible board. So as I look at just 3 employees, we have many, but I'm going to just highlight Kara Barrett was our first employee, and she's still with us 23 years later. And Kate Dobbing came on 14 years ago and was in charge of our volunteer program. She's now our executive director. And then someone who many of you know and receives very, very little recognition, Aaron Reinschow. Aaron started her first initial involvement with Higher Ground as a donor, and then came on the board at the same time that I did, and then subsequently is an employee and is in charge of our philanthropic operations today. So thank you, Aaron, for all the hard work in the 15 years. So I'm running over my time, but I can't help but think about the past. So a few years ago, Admiral Mullen, we had, Admiral Mullen was over here. Admiral Mullen, we had Lieutenant General Sam McChrystal as our keynote speaker. So over in the tent with the veterans, there were somewhat of a high percentage
here in our community. So the general looked out and he said, "Thank you, ladies and gentlemen," he's referring to the Vietnam veterans. He said, "Thank you very much for what you did. Thanks for your contribution." He said, "Put it in a scrapbook and turn the page." So that's kind of what I feel like tonight, is all the great things that happen, the page is turning. And I'll go back to, again, General McChrystal. He said to us, he said, "Put that scrapbook, turn the page, but the way you're going to be measured is how you're supporting our veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan." And then Admiral Mullen tonight in his speech over in the tent referenced the fact that these individuals are going to live much longer than the Vietnam era, and they're going to need more support, longer periods of time, and the government hasn't set any dollars aside to support them. So I'm passing on the challenge, if you will, from General McChrystal to you tonight, politely, of course. As you get ready to contribute and participate with us, think about it really hard, think about what we're doing and the mission that we have and the things we're trying to accomplish. Thank you very much. It's been an honor to serve, and I understand that we have Aaron Coleman's going to come up. We're going to be a short break, then Aaron's going to come back up, and we'll continue with the evening. Thank you very much.
First off, I want to thank everybody that's here. As a 20-year veteran and a military veteran, I can't express to you how important foundations like Higher Ground are. I can't express to you how important having an opportunity to go and get outside of normal life and get that break, how important that really is. And foundations like Higher Ground don't exist without donors. They don't exist, and the opportunities that I got to take part in that were life-changing for me don't exist without people like you that come and help. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to all of you for the support that you give Higher Ground and for giving me the opportunity to go and get the help that I need. So with that, now I'll... That wasn't a part of the speech, so that doesn't count. So I was introduced to Higher Ground from a friend of mine who's a veteran, and he was trying to find an opportunity for me to get to go out and do something to help, because I do suffer from PTSD. I do suffer from anxiety and all those things, and I don't really have an outlet. And first responders, unlike veterans, it doesn't stop. You know, I have years to go. So I've suffered through things. I've seen things that I don't necessarily wouldn't want to talk about, because I don't want others to have to experience what I've experienced. But I put it away because I still have years to go. I have a family that I have to support, and I have to keep going. So you stuff it away, you ignore the things, and you just deal with it. And someday down the road, when you finally get to retire, I'll figure it all out then. Problem is, along the way, this stuff creeps up on you and you get to experience it. So being able to take part in something like these trips and enjoying time with other first responders and other veterans is a huge deal. That being said, a good majority of the first responders I work with are also veterans. So they're dealing with their time as active duty members, a lot of them disabled vets, but now they're also dealing with consistent trauma, whether it be a first responder in my line of work or a medic or fire. It all steps up and just adds to it. I wanted to kind of, I guess, bring some reality to the job that I do. So I brought a few things with me to talk about just a couple of the experiences that I've had. So these are a few of the medals that I've been awarded over my past 20 years. Police agencies are really great at awarding medals. I received this medal in December of 2010. An individual named Patrick Green that didn't want to go to prison. And so when myself and 3 of my coworkers decided to go in the building to get him, he opened fire on us, shooting my friend in the face. My friend lived. He swallowed the bullet, which was amazing. I told him if he found it, I would make a necklace out of it, but that's a whole nother day. Fast forward, I received my second Distinguished Service Medal when a subject named Charles Menford decided he wasn't going to go to jail after committing a lot of violent crimes. And when we went to go find him, as myself and a coworker approached, he opened fire on us. Ultimately, he didn't survive that day either. The final one, which surprisingly you'd think that kind of incident is what causes my trauma. Those kind of incidents don't. This one I got as a life-saving award. I got this award in 2015 when I responded to a medical call. A amazing little boy named Drake Messer, who was 4 years old. He's non-functioning autistic. And anyone who knows or has autistic children know they are very attracted to water. Drake liked the little pond outside behind his uncle's house and found his way to it, and he drowned. In all my time, I'd never done CPR. And I got to do CPR for the first time on a 4-year-old who had autistic boy. Ultimately, I wouldn't leave. Medics tried to take over. I said, nope, and I kept working. And God sent the most amazing ER doctor who felt the same way. And Drake is still alive to this day, and he's actually doing better than he was. He actually came out of it doing very well. So they're very good about giving us medals. They're great about that, and writing really write-ups about what we did. But what they don't do is, this medal goes on a shelf. I mean, I had to dust it off, actually. But the memory is very clear. I remember what Drake was wearing. I remember I could go back to the house right now and tell you exactly where the pond is at. And they don't really know how to help us with that. I go through my days every day, and I'm a happy guy, and I'm sarcastic. In fact, Brianne Costa with Higher Ground, who was the one that called me and asked me to talk today, told me I had 5 minutes to talk, and I was like, this will be fun. I'll take twice my ADHD medicine tonight to make sure I can do it in 5 minutes. She's the one that asked me to talk today. I was happy to do so. When I went on this trip, I was a little bit pessimistic. I was a little bit kind of like, I don't know if I want to go. First thing they said is, you're going for a 7-day trip. Cool. Can I take my gun? Nope. I don't go anywhere without that. I'm a 20-year police officer. I'm a little bit messed up there. No, okay, I can deal with that. We're going rafting down the Salmon River. Do I get to drink beer? No, it's a dry event. Like, that's weird. I didn't know what to say, so I was a little bit, but what I found is, one, amazing people. Two, it was the first time in 20 years I went for 7 days and I didn't have a negative thought in my head. I didn't think about, thank you. I didn't think about the bad stuff. I didn't think about tomorrow I got to go to work and I might have to go to a bad call. I didn't have to think about someone who was victimized. I didn't have to think about the bad guy got away and we need to find this person because I don't want someone else victimized. I didn't think about the person who was suicidal and we helped them right now, but I feel like I'm obligated to make sure that tomorrow they're still here. And how do I do that? And how do I make sure that I help them the best I can? I didn't have to think about how do I keep all of this from my kids? Because I don't want them to see this part of life. I don't want them to know this is out here. I don't want them to know that dad went and had to help someone who had died. How do I do that? And at the same time, how do I also bring a smiling face and be dad and laugh with my children and play games? How do I do this? And a lot of times I don't know how. But this week I went on, I didn't have to think about any of that. I thought about how beautiful it was. I thought about the water and these people that understood me. And it was life-changing for me. I've since taken what I learned in that week and figured out for me, when I start having a dark time, I know where I can go and I can get away from it. And so without Higher Ground, I wouldn't have found what therapy works for me. And so I thank them for that. I guess the last thing, because I don't have an internal clock that works, and I don't want to go too far, but most first responders, I can tell you, are very hesitant. We don't talk about it. We don't admit it. A lot of it, there's a stigma about admitting that we have problems, especially in our line of work, because we have a lot of years ahead of us. And if you ask anybody, you could put 10 guys, and all of them could have PTSD, and not one of them is going to tell you that they do. Every one of them is going to tell you you're fine. After a bad event, they're all going to say, I'm fine. And then they're going to take it home, because there's a stigma with first responders about talking about having problems. What you guys are doing by supporting this, I can go out and I can talk about it because I'm with people that understand me. They understand what I've gone through, and I don't have to worry about the stigma following me because I'm away. I'm in a safe place. I'm away from everything else, and I have that chance to speak my voice and get it off my chest. And then once I get it off my chest, then I can just enjoy myself. So what you guys are doing, once again, I can't thank you enough. Trying not to get emotional about it, but you're helping veterans, but you're helping first responders who are often forgotten about because we're still doing it. And you're giving us a chance to actually admit that, yeah, I suffer from some things. And now I can go out and actually get a little bit of help. So the donations that you give today, what they earn today is going to help other fellow first responders, other veterans to be able to experience what I did and hopefully get out of it what I got out of it. And they can go have fun with their kids again. So thank you guys.
We like to say that Higher Ground is a building block for our participants, really bridging the gap between disability and belonging and giving them the independence and empowerment needed to lead more positive, fulfilling lives using therapeutic recreation as that baseline.
Because she sees that she can succeed and that she finds success and friendship and belonging, she knows that translates into other areas of her life and nothing will hold her back. And it's because she's had the experience of succeeding with Higher Ground.
We are a nationwide organization based here in Sun Valley, Idaho, but we have chapters in Los Angeles and New York. We started as a small nonprofit, really focused on the skiing portion of what we do. So that was the first sport that we ever used to live out our mission at Higher Ground. And that translated into so many different sports and populations that we could serve.
Over the 20-year span, we've created a lot of different programs at Higher Ground that serve different populations. So we have Paralympic programming, we have competitive programming for people with intellectual disabilities, summer camps where we introduce all kinds of skills. We have some programs that are just about leisure education, getting people out and having fun. Other programs are just about socialization.
Being at Higher Ground has definitely helped me be a lot more social and just a lot easier to make a conversation with somebody.
I enjoy seeing participants grow. When I first started with Higher Ground, I used to run all of our summer camps that were 8 through 12-year-olds. And so some of those kids now are 14 to 18 to 20 years old, and they're just so much different than the day I met them. And I think Higher Ground has played a part in that, with just creating better social scenarios for them to grow and learn and do fun things and not feel excluded from being a kid.
I've seen in my son Tyler that he has developed a confidence that he never had before. He is socially coming out of his shell and starting to be his own personality, which is something that even though he had a big personality, he wasn't always comfortable.
25 years ago, people got hurt doing something like mountaineering. And they're like, oh, I can't go do that now that I'm rehabilitated. No, you can do that. It's just going to be a different way.
The trails are great. You know, we've worked with some of the builders to show the width of our bike, and they're able to get in there with their trail equipment and make the trails wide enough so we all can enjoy them.
Our goal is, with what your functional ability is, how can we make you as independent as possible to increase your quality of life?
See where your chin is kind of like right up over the stem. It's like that's where you want to be. So let me see if I can move that forward or we can move this up.
Some really cool trails back in here.
We were able to use those core principles at Higher Ground of therapeutic recreation and adaptive sports and transition that to working with veterans with disabilities, post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, traumatic brain injury, so that now we're serving all of the different populations at Higher Ground effectively and efficiently as we can across the country.
I can't do the things I used to no more. Dealing with my PTSD, you got your good days and you got your bad days.
One of my areas that's damaged causes seizures. I have visual disturbances constantly. Post-injury, it's been a struggle. Finding a reason to continue on, finding my purpose.
I was trying to protect myself from all forms of pain, so I wouldn't do much. I isolated. I was told that I was this monster, and I felt like a monster.
For a lot of the men and women that we serve, they've lost this sense of trust with a civilian. Like, they might not be able to relate to what I've gone through. So I think that's why it's so important that we utilize staff who have been in the military. We have volunteers that have been in the military, so they can feel comfortable bonding and opening up with these different people that, understand what they're going through.
Being with these other guys, being with other veterans, getting up, doing exercise, going on little missions, even though they're recreational, and sitting down afterwards and talking about our experiences and feeling that support and that brotherhood and that camaraderie and that caring that we had as soldiers, and that's touches my heart.
What I see most commonly is that they're looking for connection, whether that be a veteran, looking for that camaraderie that they might have lost since separating from the military. It could be those supporters, the spouses, those that they bring along with the program, looking to bond with another individual that might be dealing with the same issues that they're going through at home. And then for our couples, looking to rekindle and kind of reignite their connection and their relationship.
It's been 13 years since Jeff's IED explosion, and this is the first week that I have heard him express feeling joy and feeling optimistic for the first time about our future.
So I think one of the most impactful things is seeing the transformation from day one, kind of the stiffness that's in the room where no one really quite knows what to expect, until day 7 when it's tears and it's hugs goodbye, and that there's truly been something special formed. There's a bond that's created between not only the veterans but the supporters that they brought along, and it truly is this family.
There's just an unspoken camaraderie amongst veterans. And I tell you, I am now going home with 13 new sisters. There isn't any one of these people on the river this week that I don't trust my life with. And for me to tell you that says something big, because my circle of trust is very small.
This is a place of building bonds, building relationships. I didn't know that I had it in me to go higher and higher every time. It was a joy inside, man, that you can't describe, man. It's a healing process. It's a real healing process.
It's important for the participants to understand that while our program is a week long, that we're here for the long haul, that the momentum of change that we started throughout the week doesn't end at day 7 of our program. This is going to continue on for years to come. So our follow-up is key in that we get to check back up on them and continue to offer them resources so that they can accomplish the things that they want to accomplish and continue this change that has been started on our programs.
From coast to coast, or right here in our backyard, we're seeing the evidence of recreation as a catalyst for therapy and as a catalyst for a better life on a daily basis for all of our participants.
They're so willing to put out their hand and say, I've got you, I've got your back. I can't take away all the pain, I can't take away the disability, but you know what? I can make things possible. I can be a support. When you get down, you think life is really difficult because you can't walk. Everybody runs ahead. You go to Higher Ground and you step into a world where none of that matters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an exciting live auction presentation for you at this time. My name is Damon. I'm the auctioneer, and I've got some world-class opportunities, really, to auction off. At this point, I would like to ask everybody in the tent to grab their bid paddle. We have a very talented photographer who's here, and we want to capture a kind of a yearbook photo with everybody with their bid paddle in the air. It's going to look like we raised $1 million for Higher Ground. Everybody, please, and if you want to take charge at your table and pass everybody's out, that's fine too. But you don't want to be the only person without one in the picture. Can I get a big roar if you were here last year? And a roar if you're here for the first time. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I promise everybody in the tent, I promise you, this live auction is not going to last long. I am not going to draw it out. You're not going to want to put your salad fork into your neck just to get out of the joint. We're going to go quick, and they're beautiful items. But for our photographer, everybody, put your paddle in the air just one time. Okay. No, it's not me. It's her. Yeah, this is great. Okay, that's a little warm-up. Folks, we're on the best part of Hero's Journey right here. I know because of the video came up, we didn't get a chance to give a round of applause for Aaron. Just real quick, can we give a big round of applause for his, he shared some really heartfelt, emotional, we don't hold anything back at Higher Ground. Raise a bid paddle again if you know Elkhorn Inn. You know where it's at. You know it's the greatest. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. No, just kidding. That's not how we're going to do it. Folks, Paul Hinneman brought us. He's here tonight. Yeah, give it up for Paul. He brought us the best accommodation in Sun Valley. 3 nights for 10 to 12 people, a food and wine pairing, Duke Spirits, Bourbon, Ethan Wayne, 3 nights for up to 10 people. You've got access to the swimming, the bikes, and all that stuff. Gold Handle coffee service. A food and wine is prepared by Chef Nadina. Who would like to open the bidding at $500? Somebody go $500 to start. I've got $500 here, get a bit down to give it away $1,000 on it. At thousands here, get a bit 15 here, get a bit $2,000. At $2,000, how much to give it down to give it away for 3 nights? At $2,000 here, get a bit number 43's in the lead. If you're not 43, you're behind. Somebody get 2,500, Betsy. At 25 and a 5 and a 5, 5 and a bit, give it down to give it away at $2,500. $2,000. Maybe some of you are still eating. Folks, this is the Elkhorn Inn Getaway. You could take 10 to 12 people. $2,500. I don't care how nice your home is. You could buy this for your mother-in-law. $2,500. Somebody get $2,500 on it, but give it down to give it 25, and now $3,000. At $3,000, give it $3,000. At $2,500 here, get it $3,000 if that's it. $2,500 here, get a bit 3s here, get a bit 35. Now 35s here, get a bit $4,000. At $4,000 on it. At 35 and a 4 now 4. At 35 and a 4 now 4. At 35 and a bit give it $4,000. Anybody else? For $3,500, this is going to be the buy of the night. At $3,500, anybody else? Well, how about this? We'll go in a smaller denomination. I got $3,500 here. How about $3,750 to break the tie? I got $3,500 here, get about $3,750. At $3,500 here, get about $3,750. At $35 and about $3,750. It's number 1 in your catalog. It's the Spirits alone for $3,500. At $3,750 going once. At $3,750 I'm sensing a would've, could've, should've moment on the short ride home tonight. Honey, why didn't we bid on the Elkhorn Inn Getaway for 10 to 12 people? $3,500, $3,750. Anybody else? $3,750 going once, $3,750 going twice. Fair warning. Congratulations, sold it here at $3,500. Your number is, turn around for me, number 50. Number 50 is our first winner of the night. All right. Highland Hills Ranch for 2. Highland Hills Ranch for 2. The wing shooting experience of a lifetime. Bucket list. Twice the best in the country. 5-time finalist. This has got it all. If you waited till now to open your booklet, skip number 1. That one's done. You lost out on that one. Do not make the same mistake on this one. On number 2, Dr. Dennis and Mindy will be there. The McNabb family. They're here tonight. Give it up for the McNabb family. You'll hunt 4 species on 3,000 acres. This is amazing. 10,000 square foot lodge, a professional chef. It's all inclusive, all top shelf. And this is, of course, Orvis endorsed, if not really just the best you could ever do. If you won't settle for anything else, we'll start the bidding at $500. Somebody get 5's here, 1,000's here, $1,500 is here, $2,000 is here, $2,500 is here, $3,000 is here, $3,500's here, $4,000's here, $4,500's here, $5,000 of course. At $5,500, how to give it away at $5,500, got it. And $6,000 over here, and now $6,500 is where? At $6,500, I would too. Now 7's here, now $7,500 to stay in the lead. 75 and 5 would have been $8,000. 8's here, get a bit 85. 85's here, get a bit 9,000. Lost your turn at 999, but a bit 9, but a bit 9, but a bit 9's here, get a bit 95. 95 at $9,500, but a bit get down to give it at $9,500. Somebody get 95. 9's over, 95's here, and now $10,000 over here, and now $10,500 at $10,500. 10 5's here, get a bit $11,000. 11 here, get a bit 11.5. 11.5, 5, 5, and a 5, and a 5, 5, and a 5, and a 5, and a bit give it a 5, 12 at 12,005 at 12 and a 5 and a 5 and a 5 and a 5. Sydney's 12,500. 13's a lucky number, sir. 13 5's over here. 13 5, and why not? You both hunt. Both of them. 13 5. At 13.5 Sydney, at 13.5 and a 5 and a 5, 5, 5, 5 and a bit. Don't lose this hunt for $500. You know you both hunt. 13.5, 13.5, 13.5, 13. Shoot some clay before to warm up. $13,000 going once. 13.5, got it here, and now $14,000 at $14,000 at 13.5 at a bit 14,000. I waited for him. I can wait for you, sir. At 14,000, at 14,000, at 14,000, at 4. You put a little friendly pressure on him, Jim. At 14,000, at 4. Woody. I'm gonna give it 14,000. You're at a good table here. At 14,000. Can you get a little support, guys? At 14,000, at 14,000, at $14,000. Somebody give it up. Did he do it? $14,000 going once. $14,000 going twice. And this will be the final call. Anybody in the tent want to go $14,000 and dime? Sold $13,500. Congratulations, 52, the French family winners. Woo! All right. Do I have any John Wayne fans in the house? All right. John Wayne fans. Number 3 is the Duke's VIP American Experience in Fort Worth, in the heart of the historic stockyards in Fort Worth. Generously donated by Ethan Wayne. You get John Wayne swag and an American Experience tour, 2 nights at the Hotel Dover, which is amazing. You can even ride the bull over at Billy Bob's. Who bid $500 to start it? Somebody get $500 in. At 5, get a bit 5's over here. Get a bit $1,000 here. Get a bit 15's here. Get a bit 2,000's here. Get a bit 2,500 where? At $2,500 honor. At 25 at a 25's here. Get a bit $3,000 photo bomb. $3,000. Now 35. Now 30. How to give it? Anybody else? 35, got it, at $4,000. Penny rides at 35, it'll be $37.50, break the tie. She bid first. I would serve it, she's better looking than you. I got $3,500 at $37.50, at $37.50 over here. Now $4,000, Penny, at $4,000 now, at $4,000, could you get it to give it away at $4,000? I get him to give it all, if everybody's happy. $3,500, but to get $4,000 once, $4,000 twice, $4,000 and dime. Can I get a little help this time? On a count of three, I'd like everybody in the tent to say sold together. 1, 2, 3. The Wood family, number 30 for $3,500. Congratulations, you're going to Fort Worth. Texans. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask everybody in the tent for one moment to please give me your undivided attention. I do not want anybody to miss out on this next opportunity. I asked very strategically how many were here last year. Got a big roar, I think about 50, 60% perhaps. I asked how many were here for the first time, and you all heard that as well. First timers, this is huge. Are we on number 4 now? Can we go to number 4? Yes. This is the bucket list of all bucket lists. You don't have time to do your homework at the table. I will give you this advice. Bid until you win. No matter what you donate, you heard we'll spend it wisely. But no matter what you donate will be too much for the experience that you will share. We have a legend in the tent tonight. I'm going to ask Vince to stand up and wave to everybody. Vince has people shooting over a mile. I'm telling you something. You are in very, very good hands on this package. You're going to experience spear tactical sniper training, special ops style. This is one day in your life you will never forget, and none of your friends, well, probably none of your friends will have done it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to give you all kinds of cool clothing too. Really, KUHL clothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who'll start the bidding, and I'll try and get everybody. I try not to miss anybody. Who'll start the bidding at $1,000? I have $1,000 here. I have $2,000 here. 3 is here. 4 is Woody. 5,000 is over here. $6,000. I'm going to give it away. 7's here. 8 is Woody. $9,000. 9's over here. $10,000. I've got $11,000 with Woody. Now they get about $12,000 on this side. $12,000. 11's in. Get about $12,000. 11, folks. I think there are people in the room that haven't even bid yet. 12 is right here. 13,000 at Woody's 13. 14's the ladies. All the ladies in the house. And now everybody to get 15. That's somebody at 15. At $15,000 is Woody. Now 16. That's sweet 16. I got $15,000. I'm going to get. I'm going to give it. What $16,000 did you? $16,000 would you? $16,000. Everybody give it. Everybody give it. You should see the size of these guns. $16,000. $16,000. Just think of the photo ops. $16,000. Everybody give it. But nobody. I'm going to get. Nobody's Instagram is going to look better than yours. $16,000 going once. $16,000 going twice. I just want to make sure everybody knows. I was 13 here. I was 14 here. I was 15,000 with Woody. I'm asking for $16,000 to further the bid, or we close it and sell it, and Woody becomes the happiest man in the tent. $15,000 if everybody's happy. $15,000 once, $15,000 twice. Should I sell it, Woody? I'm going to sell it to the lady for $14,000, number 80. And Woody gets it, $14,000 to 220. Vince said we could do it twice. That's $28,000 on a Friday night. Woo! Love Sun Valley. Do I have any wine aficionados in the room? Show me your wine glass. What you're drinking is quite good. What you're drinking is excellent, some may say. What you are drinking is not 100 points by Robert Parker. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have the ability to present to you a Imperial. If you've never entertained with an Imperial before, it's one large bottle that we've had. It's a 100-point bottle that we've had especially etched to commemorate the Admiral's visit and tonight's auction. This 100-point bottle, it's coming. Oh, Erin, give it up for Erin. We told you she was the hardest working. This is the etched flag. By the way, you have to have special permission to put the American flag on wine bottles per California law. So this is a very, very special, very rare bottle of wine. However, you will want to open it at an occasion. Now, ask yourself, when you're entertaining, 100-point bottle, by the time you pour hers and hers and hers, there's very little left for you, sir. Tonight, 8 bottles wrapped in one. That's just the top of the package. Now I go to my notes and I have a stay at 1023 Farmhouse, Limerick Lane. If you've not been there, I assure you will not be disappointed. It is on 30 acres, majestic Healdsburg acres. I think Healdsburg's the best part of that country. 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, so you can take some friends with you. You don't have to enjoy the bottle there. You can enjoy the bottle and commemorate a special occasion. Lale Vineyards, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 2019 Daniel Cuvée. The winery tours include Dan Costa. I don't need to say anything more about that. Presenting the new Alden Ollie. So you've got Lale, Limerick Lane, Marston, and Dan Costa's Alden Ollie. And, of course, your $3,000 gift card to a Auberge Soleil. So, don't have to use them together, but it is the ultimate California wine experience, the best of the best. Who'll start it for $1,000? Somebody bet thousands here. 15, because you bet at the same time. 2,000s here. 25s here. 3,000s here. 35s here. 4,000s here. 45 in the stripes. $5,000 is where? At $5,000, I would too. You get $3,000 back to spend at Auberge Soleil. 5,500's where? $6,000, got it there. $6,500, I'm going to give it away. $7,000. Stay until you win. 65's here, you're going to bet $7,000. At 7, bid 7, bid 7's over here somewhere. And now 75. At 75 and a 5 and a 5, 5, and a bit, give it up, and a bit, how to give it a 75. So gentlemen here, $8,000. Don't be late on 8. I've got 75 right here. At 75, and a bit, get $8,000. $8,000, but a bit, get 8,000's over here with 92. Now 85. At 85, Gene, now I'm going to get 8,500. 85, 85, 85, 55, and a bit, get down to give it a bit, get down to give it a bit, get down to 85's, $9,000. At $9,000. At $9,000, I got 85 and 9. $8,500, but 9's over here. 95, John, but get 95, Gene. At 95, 5, it'd be down to give it, what, 9,500? $9,000 on lot number 5. $9,500, I'm going to give it away. $9,500. I don't know. I know they put values on stuff for tax purposes. I don't think if you had 95, 10, 15, or 20, if you could get all of this together. These are really special donations to Higher Ground tonight, and I congratulate every single winner. I've got $9,000, $9,500 going once, 95's Gene, and now 10,000's over here, and now 10,5. At 10,5 and a 5 and a 5, 5, and I'm going to give it away, 10,5. Nobody's going to be disappointed, I guarantee it. 10,500, 10,500, 10,000, 10,000, 11,000 here, and get it at 11,5, 11,5, 5, and a bit 5. Gene, thanks for getting us here. We couldn't have done it without you. Sold $11,000. You got it, Bill. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Woo. And now number 6. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own Clint Blackstock is in the house tonight. Clint, where are you? Okay, I'm going to start the package. But I'm going to tell you something. The picture in the silent auction display does not do justice. The ladies, thank you so much. How about a round of applause for our Vanna Whites? Sophia and Elena, thank you so much. The use of colors here are magnificent. Did I see? Is Clint here? I'm coming, Clint. Clint is a two-time All-Star, a veteran, and I can't get too close to the speaker because it'll get. This is Clint Blackstock, ladies and gentlemen. He came to higher ground. He came to higher ground, and he never left. And he made Sun Valley his home. And, man, I just got to tell you something. You knocked it out of the park with this work. This is just beautiful. If this works for you, this is a great way to make a donation because every time somebody sees it in your home or office, they're going to want to know about it, and you're going to have a story to tell, and this is a really great way to donate. Clint, I thank you so, so much. Who'd like to start the bidding at $500? Somebody bid $500. 500 is 170. I'll take $750 from you, sir, because she bid first, and now $1,000. I got 1,000, got it, and now $1,250 is a gentleman here. 15's a lady, $1,750. At $1,750, at $1,750 bid, I got $1,500 now, $1,750. $1,500 on a bit of get now to give it down to get $1,750 here, get it $2,000. At two, bid a 2, 2. I'm gonna give it. I'm losing a little power here. At $2,000, $2,250. At $2,250, 50, 50. Now 50. Now I'm gonna give it a bid 50, 50. I'm gonna give it. I got $2,000 and now $2,250. At $2,250, now give it. Almost had an aneurysm up here and the guy's clapping. I have $2,000. If there's no further advancement, we'll close it out for $2,000. But I think a wallet size ought to bring that. The winning bid is no indication of the quality whatsoever. $2,000 is in the lead. Anybody else at $2,250 going once? Just in time, a new bidder. How about $2,500? At $25,500, at a bid $5,500, at a bid $5,000, at a give it away at $25,000. At $25,000's over here. Now $27,50. At 20, you missed your turn, Gabriel. $27,50, $27,50, $27,50. I've got $2,500 bid, give it away at $2,750. If that's it, we've got $2,500. $2,750. Now $3,000. I didn't forget about you, Gabriella. At $3,000, you got to start it. I'm going to give it away at $3,000. At $3,000 bid to $3,000. $2,750's here, and now $3,000 bid to give it away at $3,000. I can still see you. $3,000 bid to give it. Just nod. $3,000 bid to give it. Sold. $2,750. You got it. 353's your winner. Clint, thank you. We're going to shift gears here a little bit. We went inside the home. We're going outside the home. We're going back to the Elkhorn. This is Monte Carlo night without leaving Sun Valley with chef and entertainment connoisseur, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Antolini. How about a round of applause for our favorite New Yorker? Invite 24 of your closest friends to join you at the Elkhorn as you put on your own private Monte Carlo night. Glamour, gambling, tables, professional dealers, Vespa, cocktails, and of course, American Revolution vodka will be there as well. We'll start, and this is a big party, and you don't have to do a thing. Somebody bid 500. At 500's here, get a bid 1,000. 1,000, of course, 15. 15's here, get a bid 2,000's here, get a bid 25's here, get a bid 3,000's here. At $3,500 is right here, and now $4,000 bid give it away. 4's up here, then on 45 is 81, and now $5,000, sir, at 5,500, at a bid 5, at a bid give it 5's here, now 55, now 6, at $6,000 bid give it 65, at 65, now 7, at 7, bid 7, and how about to give it away? Ladies like their poker, $7,000 bid, I got 65, somebody bid 7,000 once, $7,000 twice, $7,000. I'm going to give it away. You're in the lead. I'm going to give it away. You're 6,500. Somebody give it away. Sold 6,000. You got it. Number 30. Sold $6,000. Number 81. Paul said we could do that one twice. So congratulations. Now, folks, I believe that concludes our live auction.
So, good evening, everybody. My name's Luke Bouchatz. Thank you all for being here. So, to set the tone for what I'm going to talk about for a couple of minutes, I want to introduce you to my family. They couldn't be here tonight, but really what I want to talk to you about is the fact that higher ground programs just don't fix veterans. They just don't fix first responders. They do that, but they also heal families. They heal broken relationships. They reestablish trust that has been broken because of trauma that was experienced because of service. So I want to start by introducing you to my family, and we have a short video to do that before I talk more. So here we go.
Specifically, some things I took away from my experience with Higher Ground. One thing that we talked about throughout the program was hunting for good stuff. So like when you're in a spot where you're feeling pressure emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically, whatever it might be, identifying those things that are actually making me a better human in the moment is so impactful.
When Luke came home from the Higher Ground program, from spending all that time in Idaho and doing that adventure, he seemed to have new skill set working with diverse teams of people and just getting a little bit better at that by working with people who have different skill sets and different experiences and levels of comfort in the outdoors. Another new skill might be working through his own trauma. No one asks for war trauma. They simply volunteer to serve. So when my husband went overseas to Afghanistan and served, what he got in exchange for his service was this trauma. Working through that is a lifelong journey for us that we are fine with doing. It's part of service. But organizations like Higher Ground help us do that.
In our family, we use outdoor recreation as a conduit to connection.
Remember when we first went skiing? It was like awesome. Oh, the kayak trail.
The canoe trail it starts at Finger Lake and it ends at Wasilla.
If you imagine the building blocks of an adult relationship, those are the same as with your kids. And so having a relationship with our kids that's built on these shared experiences is not just making memories, but it's developing, in my view, who they really are as they go from kids to being adults. I would absolutely recommend the Higher Ground program to other families. It's a great way for your whole family to benefit from one person, even just having those outdoor experiences and recalibrating who you are and what you want to do around spending time outside.
Programs like Higher Ground provide an outlet for me to have a safe space to live, to be myself, to show my true self with other veterans and with people that don't see the brokenness, but just see the person that I am. Coming away from programs like Higher Ground, I'm better able to connect with other humans, which is the key to being a human.
All right, so that's my family. That's my beautiful wife, Amy, my oldest son, David, and my youngest son, Huck. So that was a lot of footage of a climb that I do where I live in Palmer, Alaska, often. Mount POW MIA and Gold Star Peak are in the Matsu Valley in Palmer, Alaska, where I live. And I had the honor of climbing with Vaughn, Director of Operations from Higher Ground, last month, as well as with other military veterans. No one fights alone. It's on the wall as you came in tonight. And what I will say is that it is a key to recovery. A little bit about my background. I was a farm kid that grew up in Ohio. I was going to be a chicken farmer. But my senior year in high school was 2001. And September 2001 changed the directory and the entire direction of my life. So my father had served during the Vietnam War. My grandfather was a combat engineer in World War II. I was like, hey, I will join the military. I will do a stint as in the infantry, and I'll do my time and get out. Well, here I am 17 years later. I'm still in the military. I did 11 years on active duty. I've been in the Alaska National Guard for the past 6 years. What I will tell you is that trauma is part of war. My wife said it, right? It's part of the experience of being a soldier. It's part of the experience of being a first responder. But it is not unique. All of us as human beings experience that. And what I will say is that programs like Higher Ground allow veterans a couple of things that are unique to veterans. First of all, military service and being a first responder have a lot of core themes that tie themselves together, in that at its core, being a first responder or being in the military is selfless service, right? It ties us to something that is bigger than ourselves, and because of that, it ties us to an identity that is rooted in our job, our profession, our unit, which is our team, right? All of these things are core to who we are when we're in the military. When we leave service, that relationship, that bond of teamwork, of friendship, of identity is broken. Coupled with trauma that we've experienced, whether that's war trauma, military sexual trauma, trauma from service, whatever it might be, suddenly we have a break with not only our identity and our meaning because of that identity, but also purpose. What I will say is what the programs like Higher Ground do is it does three things for us as veterans. First of all, it strips away our routine. And what every one of us use routine for every day is to be more productive, to manage our time, to be able to get the things done we need to do. Well, someone that's suffering from trauma also uses it to hide from the feelings and emotions that we don't want to feel, that we don't want to face. I'm 12 years removed from my heavy combat deployment. I've had multiple deployments since that time. But 12 years ago, I went into war as a young lieutenant. 6 weeks into combat, my commander was killed. I came out of that deployment with a lot of shame and guilt because of decisions that I made. I couldn't look mothers in the eye. I couldn't look wives in the eye. I couldn't look kids in the eye because of what I perceived as decisions that I had made that got their husbands, their fathers, their sons killed. I carried that shame for years. I still carry some of the guilt tied to that, right? I have my own trauma from traumatic brain injury, from post-traumatic stress, right? Those things coupled together caused me, by 2014, to basically implode. I had abdicated my role, basically, in my home as a husband, as a father, right? And I had lost my identity as a soldier. Well, the safe space for me to go was always to go to the mountains. So literally, my family and I packed up and we moved to Alaska. I joined the National Guard. I left active duty. I was a mess. You know, my temper would go off in 2 seconds, right? I could lose my mind over the silliest things. But it was because I wasn't facing the trauma. When I came alongside other veterans that were willing to look me in the face as peers and say, you have a problem and you need to fix it, I do too, but let's work on you today, I started to heal. I found that space in the mountains. Outdoor therapeutic recreation does that. It strips away our routine, especially programs like Higher Ground. Aaron said it. You come here, you can't carry protection. You can't use alcohol that many veterans use, substances, to be able to numb the feelings, emotions, pain that we experience, right? This is not an uncommon thing. When that's stripped away, what are you left with? Well, you're left with those feelings and emotions. The second thing Higher Ground does, though, is it provides a safe space. It provides a safe space with peers and understanding team leaders to be able to work through that trauma. The third thing it does is it gives passion back. It gives passion back for life that maybe we've lost because there was a break. There was a break with our identity, and we lost passion in life. And suddenly, skiing, fishing, scuba diving, mountaineering, whatever that event is, it serves as a catalyst to allow healing to start. I've got to go on 2 Higher Ground programs this year. They've been amazing. You come in on Monday, people are closed off. They're shut off. You strip away the routine. Now they're faced with those feelings. By Friday, teams have built. Relationships have been established. Relationships start to be restored on the home front. Higher Grounds doesn't just help individuals. It restores families. It restores communities. Ultimately, what I want you to see here is that military veterans suffer trauma. We all do. But we can come through that better able to serve our communities, better able to serve our families, better able to engage because of programs like Higher Ground. All right? And that has no price tag on it. So, with that said, I would ask you to open your hearts and your wallets for the paddle up, and I'm going to hand this back over.
Well, if I had the ability, I would brighten up the room so I could see everybody better, but hopefully I'll be able to see my notes. This is the best part of the evening, and it's a part where I walk that very thin line. I cross it, actually, because earlier we were all having fun auctioning you stuff that, for lots of money that you might not even use. Now, I'm going to ask you for gifts from your family to Higher Ground, but I do it with a lot of confidence, and I know this is something that I can't remember doing last year, so I want to make sure I get it out. Thank you. Every single person, every volunteer, everybody that bought a ticket. I don't know what everybody donates. I know that you're here, and I know you care, and this is the best part of the evening. So thank you for everything that you're about to do. Having gotten that housekeeping out of the way, we have something very, very fun to start this portion, this paddle up. And if there's anybody that didn't get a chance to find out what paddle up is, it's simply this. When I put out a denomination out there, and you'll put your paddle in the air, and you're making the gift. No prizes. But we have, well, we kind of sort of have. So Buck and Kitty Jones, this is the first event that they haven't been able to make it to. And they didn't want to, just miss it completely. So in their absence, they've put out in the tent $50,000 challenge. If I can get somebody else in the tent to do it, to match them at 50, then that would be one phenomenal start. But this is, since 2007, this is the first time they haven't been here in person, and a really lovely way to start the event. So, I have to ask, is there anybody that would match them and their $50,000 gift on this very special night? Okay. I asked. Now we'll do it the second. Can we get at least 2 people to do $25,000 each? Wow. First 2 hands in the air. 223 is going to do $25,000. Thank you, Jay. Boy, I thought his arm was going to fall off. And I see I have $25,000. Thank you so much. Number 53, I thank you so much. Well, well, well. This puts us at 75. Oh, Woody's in the house. 220. Thank you, Cynthia. That's another $25,000. Number 16, gonna be $25,000. We're at 100 right now. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Join them. See how happy they are? These are the happiest people in the tent right now. The more you give to Higher Ground, the better you feel. It's a proven fact. Okay, now we're an intimate group. I feel very comfortable doing it this way. So we sit down and we have meetings and meetings and meetings about how to do this the right way, and we get a lot of input from really bright people. But we don't want to go to so many different categories. With your blessing, if we move from the 25,000 and we go to the 10,000, if you feel like 15,000 fits, you want to do 15 better than 10, that's great. We've got professionals here writing down the donations. So put your card in the air at the 10,000. I'll know it's 10. And if not, just say, hey, that's 15 tonight or 20 tonight. And that's the way we'll record it. We'll do it all as a group. So I have my first $10,000 from 170. Thank you so much. I've got another. This is $20,349. $20,000. Keep them up because I think it's going to get your neighbors to do the same. Sir, Bill, thank you. That's $10,000 on 304. Woo, keep them. Oh, I got a whole table over there. I got to come over here. Thank you so much. 288, Nancy, thank you so much. Another $10,000. I'm coming. Right now, I've got $10,000, 206. $10,000, number 86. $10,000 from the lovely Elizabeth, number 73. $10,000, 19. Thank you, Ted. $10,000. Number 176, I thank you so much. Another $10,000 on a Friday night. Thank you. 247 is $10,000. It's Carrie. Thank you. 150, Tom is $10,000. I'm coming back over here this year. I wore tennis shoes. Number 298 is going to be $10,000 right here. Thank you, Dave. Board members are in. 213, another $10,000. Holy goodness sakes almighty, I'm coming. Maybe we'll do roller skates next year. $10,000, 3. Scratch that. $20,000, 322. I have chills right now, Kristen. Folks, what a great round. Thank you so much. We had $20,000 donors, $15,000 donors, and $10,000 all over the tent. Folks, if you can do $5,000, put it up and let's go. 107, thank you, $5,000. 114 is $5,000. 187 is $5,000. 102 is $5,000. And $6,000 from the very lovely Ann. Thank you so much. What's your number? 39, same as your age. 55. You made me forget made me forget what number I was on. Thank you, $5,000, sir. 209, how about that? Started this evening, $5,000. 209, Jeff's in the house. And $5,000 from 69, Kevin. 353, $5,000. 127, thank you, Doug. Another $5,000. Number 25, $5,000. 88's on the side with $5,000. 237, $5,000. 229, $5,000. Jane, 68. Paul, $5,000. 316, my favorite scripture, $5,000. 222. That's like hitting the jackpot. $5,000. All right. I'm a little out of breath, but I think I can pull this off. Folks, the Confidence Foundation is with us in the tent tonight. The Confidence Foundation has a very serious $50,000 match for all of the $2,500 donors. Now, if our $2,500 donations add up to $20,000, that's what we get from the Confidence Foundation. If it's $30,000, that's what we get from the Confidence Foundation. I'm hoping we get all $50,000 from the Confidence Foundation. This $2,500, and even if you already donated tonight, you might want to reach in a different pocket. This is all restricted for our veterans. $2,500 one time to 144. $2,500 $297. $2,500 154. $2,500 is number 76. Number 8's going to be $2,500. Number 60 is going to be $2,500. Number 132 is going to be $2,500. And number 130 is going to be $2,500. Now, 24 and 122. Some people say, why does he have to say the $2,500 all the time? Because our people are writing it down, and it gives them time. $2,500, thank you. Number 5, $2,500, 286. Penny's in the house. $2,500, 354. $2,500, 172. 113, I thank you, Sherry, $2,500. Number 31's going to be $2,500. I hope somebody's keeping track. I have lost 184. Bill's in for $2,500. Anybody know where we're at for a total? Huh? Did we get the 50? We're at 40. We're at 44. We need 4 more. That's way better. Folks, I never do this. We've had a great 44, wherever we're at, we need 4 more to get the 50. If you think you can pull that off without missing any meals and you'd be happy to do it, let me know now. Otherwise, that's still a home run out of the park. Anybody else? $2,500? Okay. Well, we thank you for, one more. 206. We're 3 away. Number 5, thank you. We are 2 away. Two away. Thank you. Turn it around for me. Oh, he's coming in twice, guys. This is a second round for him. 172. Bob is also a veteran, and he came back twice. We are 113 rounds out the match. We got it. $50,000. Sherry, Boberry, Banana, Boberry, Sherry. Another 2-time donor. Thank you, Sherry. Okay. If you came wanting to donate anything in between, would anybody like to do a $1,000 donation? 158 is $1,000. 234, $1,000. 240 and 248, $1,000. 82 is going to be $1,000. I got this whole table donated. Look at them. 290 is $1,000. 352 is $1,000. 348 is $1,000. 287 raise $1,000. 299 is $1,000. 44 is $1,000. 46 is $1,000. 251 in pink is $1,000. 254 is going to join her, another $1,000. Folks, anybody want to do $500? We're almost there. I'm going to turn the microphone back. Thank you. 180 is going to do 500. 292 is going to do 500. 167 is going to do $500. Folks, 277 is $500, and 54, number 54 is going to be $500. And now we have a group of volunteers that have buckets. So if you want to donate $100, just throw your bid paddle in there, and they'll know that that's a $100 donation. If you want to do $250, hand them the bid paddle and say, make it $250, and they'll write it right on the bid paddle. Folks, thank you so much for allowing me to be a very small part of the success here at Higher Ground. I cannot tell you how you've just made my whole year and restored faith in humankind. Anyway, folks, these are your volunteers. I'm going to give the microphone to Jay Johnson, and Jay is going to make a very important introduction, and then our party will start.
Okay, we're going to start this bidding. No, sorry. Attention, please. Hold it down. That work, Tom? Okay. I appreciate the attention. I'll keep appreciating it. Thank you. Let me just say at the top here, my job is an introduction tonight, but I, like others before me, would like to thank Higher Ground for all that they do. It's Sydney and I are proud to be part of the Higher Ground family, and based on everything we've all just experienced, I think all of you have that same feeling. And the staff and the volunteers, we're blessed with all of them. Thank you very much. So my job tonight is to introduce Admiral Mike Mullen. And as some of you know, Admiral Mullen and I, shall we say, go back a few years. We're classmates at the Naval Academy, class of 1968, and our paths have interwoven ever since then to our mutual enjoyment. I could talk for an hour about Mike Mullen. I won't do that, but I will say that, and you've got some of it here, his military record, his military service is a matter of public record. So I'll just add a couple of things tonight. One is that the breadth and depth of his leadership experience is without equal. As a flag officer, you know, he's a surface warfare officer. He commanded at every level from Navy lieutenant up. As a flag officer, I believe he's had more command and leadership time than any other flag officer that the Navy has had. For example, he was the commander of Cruiser Destroyer Group 2. He was the commander of the U.S. Second Fleet, Striking Fleet Atlantic. He was the commander of the U.S. Navy, naval, and NATO forces in Europe. He was the 28th Chief of Naval Operations, and he was the 17th Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's a lot of command time, a lot of seasoning, a lot of commitment to our country. His service, yeah, thank you. As you might expect from someone like that, his service didn't stop when he retired from the military in 2011 after 43 years. In fact, as Sydney likes to say, he didn't retire, he rewired. And in point of fact, the service he has given to all of us since then is in many ways as important, and in some respects even more important than his military leadership. He, for example, and you'll hear more about why I said that from him, but here's an example. He teaches leadership at the United States Naval Academy. Okay, that's what the Naval Academy is all about. No, Mike Mullen teaches leadership and ethics to the seniors, the firsties. Why? Because he believes it's important as they are about to be commissioned and become officers in the Navy and the Marine Corps to get calibrated on what to expect and the leadership expectations that are laid upon them once they get commissioned. And the best way he can do that is to make sure he talks to each and every firstie before they graduate in a leadership class. That's Mike Mullen. He's also a gifted public speaker, as you'll hear in a minute, but he doesn't just speak for the sake of, earning money or talking to people. He speaks when he believes that what he says can make a difference in people's lives and can improve whatever circumstance is being dealt with. And it's from down here, not from the mouth. He's a man of great heart and great integrity. More than any other couple I know, I would tell you that Mike and Deb Mullen invest a disproportionate amount of their lives to make things better for others, and particularly those who've served their families, the communities they live in. And as you'll probably hear from him, I would say that PTS, TBI, okay, TAPS, Gold Star families, and now Higher Ground are just a few examples of the areas of focus they bore in on and work really hard to improve the lots of the people who are in that reality set. They do it better than anyone I've ever seen. They're absolutely tireless. And those of us who know them and love them have the greatest amount of respect for them for that very thing. I'll just finish by saying that when Mike Mullen's your friend, you got a friend for life. But I would also say that if you know a young man or a young woman who's looking for a role model or somebody to set their sights after where they can make a difference and nurture good things in life, I would suggest one of the first places they look is at Admiral Mike Mullen. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Mike Mullen.
Wow. Thanks, Jay. Who'd have thought that two 18-year-olds in 1964 would have been standing here tonight? Very special to you and Sydney, who've hosted me this week, and Deb sends her best as well. And I know how much this event and this organization means to the two of you, and we're all grateful. So thanks for that, and for your long-standing friendship. I made a comment to Jay earlier that one of the real difficult parts about speaking last is everybody sort of has already said what you're going to say before you get there. And I did take a couple notes that I thought was really important as a part of what this organization is. And one of which, I think it was Aaron, said, Higher Ground changed his life forever. I think listening to Luke, you'd say much the same thing. To John Ryan and his family, and I was not aware until tonight of your loss, and words can never fill that up, but I want to assure you that we'll never ever forget that loss, and how important and what a great young man he was, and what his sacrifice was. In ways, his sacrifice allowed guys like Jay and I to be here tonight, and for us to do what we've been able to do in a small way for our country. So thank you. Someone else said, and I think again it was Aaron, these are words of wisdom, that when you give in an organization like this or a mission like this, you get back so much more than you give. And certainly that is true. And to my fellow Vietnam vets, and I know there are a bunch of you here, one of the wars are never good, ever. But one of the highlights of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan for me was how many Vietnam veterans helped our young combat veterans in terms of understanding what they had been through, as only somebody that's been in combat could understand, as you've heard tonight. And in so many cases, these Vietnam vets were brought to tears because in that mission, if you will, engagement, it's the first time so many of them felt welcomed back home. Extraordinary, extraordinary stories. Just a little bit about, from a background standpoint, I mean, what got me focused on this was Iraq injuries in 2003. And I was in a relatively junior job at the time, and I started to learn a little bit more about veterans. Back then, the unemployment for veterans was through the roof. It isn't now, it's been reduced. I lived in a nice set of quarters in Washington, and I told Jay this story, and I remember when the war started in 2003, looking out from my very nice set of quarters in Washington, wondering two things. One, would the American people blame the United States military for the war? And secondly, would we generate another generation of homeless vets like we did in Vietnam? And over the course of the next couple of years, it became very clear that the American people were able to separate the war from the military, which was, and I thought that way initially just because of my Vietnam experience. All of us went through that. And secondly, we have generated a significant homeless population from this generation, and I'll talk a little bit about that more. These wars, like every war, the issues of post-traumatic stress, these wars in particular, the issue of TBI, because of two things, really. The severity of the blasts and the world-class medical care that we could provide in the field. That if we got an injured troop to the right medical facility within an hour, it was like a 95% chance that you would live, including on a handful of occasions, what we call quads, who lost both arms and both legs, that would never have survived in previous wars. What we oftentimes forget are the caregivers. I can't tell you the number of young, mostly women, but young spouses with 2 kids that came to Bethesda Walter Reed, gave up their career to help their wounded, in most cases, husband, spouse, get through it. And actually, one of my heroes in all this is Elizabeth Dole, because when Bob Dole was receiving care in Walter Reed, she watched this impact on caregivers and has set up an incredible foundation to focus on caregivers since that time. And just to remind everybody, we're an all-volunteer force. We're less than 1% of the country. We're not representative of the country, which is a worry for me when we make decisions about going to war. We have a very, very small percentage of the country which is fighting that. For those of us on active duty, we don't know anything about the VA. You would think if you didn't know anything about us that we do, but we don't. We know the VA has some benefits in education, they do some medical stuff, but that's about all we know, which was sort of entry for me as I took these more senior jobs. And this was a Vietnam scar for me, but my wife and I, Deb, we went to too many funerals. One is too many, but we went to too many funerals in Arlington. We made too many trips to Dover, where families received the remains of their fallen son or daughter. And one of the reasons we did that was because of our experience in the Vietnam time. We were both anxious to put a face on the name, and a name in terms of the military, to engage these families as best we could in these incredibly difficult moments in their lives. And that moved us greatly. I want to talk a little bit about our culture, because this was in the active duty military, because I really didn't know this, even I'd been in probably almost 40 years. And again, I'm married to a wonderful woman. In fact, our 52nd anniversary is in about 10 days. And Deb met a gal named Bonnie Carroll who runs TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, mostly focused on Gold Star families in the mid-90s. And Bonnie and three or four other Gold Star spouses put TAPS together back then and worked for the better part of a decade to create a program which from there now connects with as many as 100,000 family members whose husband or wife or son or daughter, father, mother have passed away in the military. And Deb is still on that board. When I talk about our culture, I'm a Navy guy, I'm 2 wars, and now I've got to find out a whole lot more about the Army and the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps I know pretty well, but I'm losing kids every day, and my style or my focus is I want to find out, first of all, what I'm asking them to do. Am I doing everything I could as a senior to take care of them in these life and death situations? And there were 2 visits to Gold Star spouses that I would mention. One was here in Boise, it was in Boise, and for the rest of my life, because when we would go around and visit, we would ask to see Gold Star families. And for the rest of my life, I can picture this mother, tears in her eyes, just looking at me and say, please tell me my son's loss wasn't in vain, and tell me you'll never forget. And that mother's statement and our response will drive us to focus on that, not forgetting until we can't. That's the payback. That's the responsibility, quite frankly, that I think our nation has. And then secondly, in the culture piece was, we were once sitting down at Fort Bragg with about a dozen widows from the Army. And most of them wanted to stay connected to the Army. And what I learned in that meeting was, when the member passes away, the connection passes away. The vein gets cut. So here were families who had undergone this ultimate sacrifice, paid the ultimate sacrifice. And yet, very quickly, we were going to disengage with them. You are gone, we are focused on our active duty force, and they leave. And the reason I talk about that, and that's almost the ultimate example of our culture, and that gets to the importance of programs like Higher Ground, because we don't stay connected. We've tried to get better, all the services, quite frankly, in that culture. But once you are gone, you and your family, from an active duty standpoint, from an institution standpoint, you're gone. And that was a wake-up. And so for me, what I tried to do when I was in this chairman's job was set up an office which focused on those who had passed away, those who were wounded. And it's underpinned by the lack of a relationship between the DOD and VA. Now, you would say, if you don't know us, that makes no sense. I get it doesn't make any sense, but it is a fact. So I would have a young soldier who's lost 2 limbs spend 6 months in Walter Reed rehabbing, be discharged, and off to the VA. I had no idea about what that institution was going to do, and no way, quite frankly, of staying in touch with him or her. And I wanted to know a lot more about that. And so I set up an office, actually, with some of you may know a colonel by the name of Dave Sutherland, who was, as an 06, was a direct report to the chairman. I'm a 4-star. Believe me, the staff did not like that at all. And he's not a shy guy. He lost 114 soldiers when he was a brigade commander in Iraq in 06, and had a passion for it and still does to this day. He and I still work together. We have about 200,000 troops that transition out of the military every year. And I would ask Higher Ground, and I know you're doing some of this, I don't want to say I'm not concerned about the officer corps, but the majority of who we are is that E5 sergeant. And that's the center mass. That's the center of the pyramid. Those are the individuals who've done the fighting the most, and they are the most impacted. So if you can create fidelity in that regard to pull in that level, that's going to make our focus a lot better. I mentioned I talked to Hayward, and I'm very grateful for Hayward, because I started this thing in 2011 called the Sea of Goodwill, but what I learned in that is Washington, and you can be, many of us are frustrated with Washington. Washington can't do this. So if you're waiting for Washington to do it, it's not going to happen. Individuals like Hayward and Katie and Jeff and Vaughn and others, it takes local leaders in local communities to create organizations like this, customized to the need, quite frankly, that makes a difference across the country. And when we started talking about this Sea of Goodwill, which basically I knew was out here, but we didn't have a playbook, we didn't know how to do it. I did a town hall meeting at Morgantown, West Virginia, to talk about this, because we had a lot of vets there. And the mayor came up afterwards and said, well, what do I do? And I said, I'm not sure, because I have a blank page. Well, now we have a full playbook years later. And it's a really effective playbook. And it's led by people like Hayward and others, and many of you here in this community. And it's different across the country. It's focused principally on education, health, and employment. It has been. I would expand the health discussion now to wellness, what you're doing here in Higher Ground, what we do with adaptive sports, what you heard from Luke about the world opening up because of that. is an example of that. But wellness is an area that we've got to spend, I think, a lot more time on. We've got a good GI Bill. Another classmate of ours, actually, Jim Webb, really hammered that through almost by himself. So education is doable. The most difficult period of time for anybody leaving the military is transition, and it's made that much more difficult if you've seen combat. But we run lousy transition programs. Jay ran the Navy, I ran the Navy. The cumulative time that he and I, over 6 years running the Navy, spent on transition programs was 0 seconds, period. It's done somewhere out there. Again, the culture is your preparation for the rest of your life is the 4 years you spent with us, or the 10 years, or the 30 years. We've invested a lot in you. So that transition period of time is so critical for any program, including this one, to grab the individuals during transition, because that's when they need it. I want to say in particular, thanks to Chris Dornan Boskin, Navy brat that she is, because in 2004, she had this idea, and look where we are now. And that's, again, it doesn't take a lot of people, but it takes one or two, and then those who will support. But she, because of her background, saw the need way ahead, quite frankly, way ahead of just about all of us. I hope one of the messages, and I get McChrystal's, okay, put it in your scrapbook and turn the page. I understand that. I know Stan pretty well. One of the messages is, and I talked about this in the tent earlier, is the support has to be staying for 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, again, we got a lot of Vietnam vets. Any Korean War vets here? So, yeah, please stand up. Please stand up. One of the sad things I've learned in this veteran space, as we have talked about the Korean War being the forgotten war, too often we have forgotten our Korean War vets as well. And so in your connections, please pay attention to that. Another, just quick example I'd give you on long-term investment, sustaining it. We put together the Intrepid Center for Rehabilitation down in San Antonio in 2007. A bunch of donors put it together, world-leading technology. And one of the questions that's haunted me since, and it's been spectacular, as it was at Walter Reed and Bethesda, but in particular at BAMC in San Antonio. But one of the questions that haunted me was, what are we investing in now so that when these 20-year-olds who are on this technology are 50 and the technology isn't going to work anymore because they don't have as much strength as they used to? What are we doing with respect to that? And that's a long-term view, but that's part of what we need to do as well. I'll talk just a little bit about who we are. I mentioned less than 1%, fewer and fewer places, not representative of the country. But the return on investment for this country, we are loyal, we are teammates, we are dedicated, trustworthy. We're married. For those of you that haven't looked at this, 50% of the force is married. Many of us came in when that number was like 4%. And the families matter, and the spouses have been ridiculous. They've been so good, and they are typically employed as well. So when I talk about employment, hire the spouses as well. That's really key. Too often we focus only on the member, and that's not all bad, but the spouses are extraordinary people as well. We're service-oriented. We don't do it for ourselves. I mentioned earlier we're young, 21 years old as the average age in any military unit today. It has always been thus. They carry the load for this country. And we are, interestingly enough, and I say this with some trepidation, but we are, because of our world experience at that age of 20 or 21, we are much more likely to be bipartisan because we've seen and met people from all over the country. We've fought alongside them. They are brothers and sisters in arms despite whatever our backgrounds might be. I have a lot of faith down the road, and the country's in trouble, and I'd be the first one to sign up. But I watch this generation, and they're going to lead. They're going to fix a lot of that's my belief. It's going to take a while for them to be old enough to do that, and the young generation is oftentimes criticized, not from me, not what I saw them give and sacrifice to and for this country. There are about 20 million of them, of us veterans. 70% have seen combat. Another classmate of ours that ran the Marine Corps was a guy named Mike Hagee, and Hagee was an infantry guy in Vietnam, and he said to me in 2003, I never knew anybody that was in combat that didn't have post-traumatic stress, ever. 20% of the force is women, 25% are people of color. And so we're a changing force in that regard that's more representative. The challenges that we have are the wars are over, we've got to sustain this, and I worry about the country just looking away. Suicides are 20 a day, and I invested a lot of time when I was in the chairman's job on suicides because it was an epidemic then. It remains as we speak. I was stunned at one, how little literature was out there on suicides, and two, what we do as a country with suicides is basically the same thing we do as a family. We just store it away and we compartmentalize it. We need to break through on this. It's a very tough, severe challenge. Anybody that's been around it knows that 20 a day isn't going away. And upwards of 70% of the veteran suicides right now are from individuals 55 years of age and older. So it goes back to that, and that obviously at the heart of Vietnam, it goes back to that, how do we intervene? TAPS has a great division, if you will, on suicide because they've been around so many families who have sustained that. Opioids have hurt us badly. You will hear, if you haven't, much more discussion about burn pits. Back to TAPS. TAPS has taken more calls on life-ending issues based on burn pits in the last couple of years than anything else. The VA approved, I think there were 9 different kinds of cancer recently approved coming out of burn pits. There's a piece of legislation that's about to be approved about toxic exposure. It's similar to what we did for Agent Orange. We can't bat an eye about this. We got a lot of bills to pay, I understand that. We cannot look away from those who sacrificed so much. And we now have caregivers inside TAPS who are caring for their husband or their wife, their spouse, who then, and because of burn pits and the cancer, and we lose them, and the caregivers then become Gold Star, not Gold Star, but they become individuals who are now survivors inside that organization. Vets, typically about 60% of the vets will tell you they're underemployed, even if they have jobs. I mean, I think the unemployment right now for vets is like 2.7%, but they're a whole lot better than we are actually acting in the workplace, if you will. The homelessness issue, one of the things I spend time on because I'm from LA, is the West LA VA mess, and at the center of that is homelessness, but there are many other things as well. About 1.5 million of them are financially below the poverty line, and about 2.4 million above that are living on food stamps. They want careers, they don't want jobs. The transition period, and it takes a while. It'll take 3 months or 6 months or 18 months. But if you light one of those vets off in your company or your institution, the payback will be almost instantaneous and it will be forever. So please, to the degree you can, make that investment. We've heard, as long as I've been doing this, and obviously we deal with a lot of individuals with disabilities. For my money, this is not about disabilities. It is about abilities. It is about abilities, abilities, abilities. Find them. You've heard some of that tonight. We're on a food insecurity ledge right now with the food crisis, and I think we're in a global food crisis much deeper than we know. And our vets and our military members, they're going to get hammered. They are getting hammered by inflation as well. So things are not going to look up in the near future. What works? Local leaders, community customization, full service. When a vet shows up to ask you about education, you better have health, employment, mental health support, all that stuff within reach, because they're not going to visit each of those organizations. But if they show up, that full service, either capability or contact, is critical. Really good transition programs work. If you're in an organization and you're bringing vets in, have vets inside. People who understand the background, the story. That really works. I mentioned hiring the spouses, careers not jobs. And then lastly, I'd say they're the best we have. I mean, I've had the great privilege for longer than we expected, certainly longer than I expected, to lead them, and I've watched them go to hell and back for our country without question. And I do believe they will lead in the future. So invest in them, and I know you have here. And it's hard to find words that will adequately describe what Higher Ground has done. It's extraordinary, but we're still in the first or second quarter. So thanks and God bless.